Joining me now is Republican Congressman Michael Burgess of Denton. He's the vice chairman of the House Health Subcommittee, and before he went to Washington, he practiced many years as a physician, so he understands the front lines issues that doctors and patients have to deal with. So, Congressman Burgess, I know you're not a supporter of the health care law, so what do you hope happens tomorrow coming out of the Supreme Court?
I have a feeling that the Supreme Court is going to rule that part or all, or that part of the law is unconstitutional because of the lack of a severability clause, or what's called a severability clause in the law. My feeling is the entire law should be stricken, and that Congress should go back to work and try to fix the problems that result from said striking.
What if the law is left untouched? What if it stands as is? How would you move forward?
You know, you've already seen some inkling in that direction. Clearly, this would inform the sum and substance of the presidential debates during the fall, and although the House would invariably proceed with an additional repeal vote, which we've done before, either in part or in totality, the Senate is disinclined to take up that type of activity, so we'd have, once again, a standoff. You know, the fact of the matter is this thing's never been popular. People have never warmed to the idea that the federal government can do a better job than everybody else under the sun with a very complex set of circumstances that is the American healthcare system. So I just don't think there's any question that that popularity is not suddenly going to inure to this concept if the Supreme Court says, yeah, we like it, Congress, you didn't exceed your authority, and carry on.
I think some things are popular, though, generally. I think parents like the idea that their kids can stay on their policy until they're 26 as younger kids kind of bounce around. I think there's some popularity with the fact that you can't turn away someone based on a pre-existing condition. Are there some parts of this law that you'd like and you'd like to see carry over?
Well, let's take those things that are advertised as the popular positions. I am asked frequently, well, what do you do with a kid on their parents' insurance company at age 26 if the court strikes the whole thing down and they could lose their coverage July 1st? Well, no, they're not. That coverage is a contract that exists for the plan year, so at least until November, December, when the open enrollment period occurs again, that person's coverage is not going to be disturbed, which gives Congress a measure of a little bit of breathing room to look at the issue and decide what to do next. But the real reality is now the insurance companies are looking at that and saying, you know what, maybe it is good policy. Maybe we can claim additional market share if we incorporate that into our base underwriting of health care insurance. And as a consequence, you have at least 2.5 large insurance companies that are looking at doing just that. So, you know, maybe the market will respond faster than the Congress, which is exactly what should happen, and this will go away as an issue.
I guess the frustration is that I think a lot of people have said, boy, health care is out of control for a number of years, and nothing was ever done to get health care under control, right?
I disagree with that. I mean, you had the failure of the Clinton plan in 1994, 1995. What happened in 1996? Well, the state children's health insurance program was stood up by, in fact, a Republican Congress. You had a variety of health care measures that were enacted through the late 90s. You had the Medicare Modernization Act that picked up prescription drugs in 2003, my first year in Congress. So, you know, that was the #1 health care issue when I ran in 2002, was seniors having to go to Canada to buy their drugs because they were too expensive. That got fixed under a Republican president, a Republican Congress. Don't tell me that these things cannot be fixed unless you have a Democrat in the White House and Democrats in charge of the House and Senate, because that's frankly not true.
So can you, I don't know if you can, but can you promise, boy, if this thing gets overturned, okay, people, you have our attention. We are going to get after some health care legislation and get this taken care of in the right way. Are you prepared to do that?
Well, I would emphasize the right way, and the right way would not be for an immediate rollout of a 2,700-page Republican bill that will make everyone mad and no one will trust either. So you do, in my opinion, and when people asked me about this in 2009, I said, look, there are a number of things that need to be fixed and could be fixed. 7 to 9 individual standalone bills that could be debated. They'd be about 70 pages each. People could read them and understand them and know what they were voting on when they voted for them. That would be, in my opinion, that would be the correct way to approach this. And we could talk about fairness in the tax system. We could talk about a pre-existing program. We could talk about liability reform, all of the things that were left out of the discussion when the Affordable Care Act was signed into law.
Okay. Dr. Mike Burgess, Congressman Michael Burgess, thank you. Tomorrow is going to be a big day in Washington. I bet you're going to have an exciting day. So we'll be watching, and maybe you can come back tomorrow and talk to us.
I bet it will.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'll be happy to do it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.